So currently I manage a team which tracks a number of companies listed in the US covering the healthcare sector. So equity research is basically analyzing the publicly listed companies to find the investment opportunities.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to FaceTime with Leaders, a podcast series by World Development Corporation. I am Rajesh Joshi, uncovering some great achievements and contributions of unsung heroes, inspiring others. We have a very special guest on this episode, Mr. Nilesh Pawse. He is Equity Research Manager at Guggenheim Partners Transparent Value. He astounds us with nearly 1.5 decades of experience in financial modeling and equity research, with which he has given several invaluable services to a number of clients. Mr. Pause, it is my pleasure to have you on our show. We welcome you.
Yeah. Thank you so much for having me. Yeah, it's a pleasure.
It's a pleasure here too. Mr. Pause, to kickstart this discussion, your specialty in equity research in the healthcare sector steals the deal of the show. Could you shed some light on the role and how you entered the field and gained specialization in it?
Yeah. So after completing my MBA in finance, I had various opportunities. Like in finance, I could have gone into project finance, investment banking, or other fields. But I was particularly interested in equity research because I find that this field is very dynamic, and I felt that I have the required aptitude to pursue a career in this field.
Mhm.
So I started as an analyst, and as I moved on to manager. So currently I manage a team which tracks a number of companies listed in the US covering the healthcare sector. So equity research is basically analyzing the publicly listed companies to find
Mhm.
the investment opportunities.
Okay.
So we need to analyze the companies when they file their quarterly earnings results, and see which companies are having strong fundamentals and where there is a potential for further growth. So we analyze all these companies and identify such companies which are good investments and which can help the clients to maximize their wealth. And
Mhm.
talking about this sector that I cover, it is the healthcare sector. So healthcare sector is a very vast field. It covers different sub-industries like pharma, biotech, healthcare equipment, supplies, facilities, and so on.
Sure.
So, and what I find is this field is very technical. Like if you look at the pharma, biotech, it has various scientific terminologies and the aspects which needs to be understood. And only if these things are understood in depth, then no, these companies can be analyzed, and we can go forward to give our recommendations on what we feel as them as the investment opportunities.
Completely agreed. Completely agreed, Mr. Pause. And I must say, here, ladies and gentlemen, we have a young, dynamic professional who does all the brain work following his heart. That's fantastic. And it is great that you realize that okay, this is where your interest area lies, and you invested yourself in trying to acquire the best possible knowledge that there is and experience towards this area of interest that you have. It's really great, and my compliments to you on that, Mr. Pause. You also provide expertise to about 120 US listed companies with the help of your team. This is a massive professional accomplishment, I must say, and at such a young age, this is a tremendous achievement. How do you manage such a grand scale responsibility?
Yeah, so like my team covers these many companies, and so it is quite an hectic task, especially
Hmm.
during the earnings season, because these companies file the earnings in a very narrow gap. And so whenever the earnings release are out, we need to update the financial models and prepare the equity research report and get it published. So like we have to be on the top of these companies and understand and give the our best to analyze these companies and give the recommendations. So it is like we have to work on very tight deadlines, but at the end of the day, it is very like rewarding experience, and there is a lot of satisfaction then when we achieve the deadlines. And another thing is that we get to learn everything every quarter. Like companies file the earnings quarterly,
Mm-hmm.
and whatever work we do and we give our recommendations, then we again go back and see how these companies have performed, whether our recommendations were like proved to be correct or not, and how they pan out. And so that helps to learn from the experiences that we have and implement it going forward. So it is a constant learning experience that is there, and that is what I find this field is very exciting to be part of.
Great, 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 Mr. Pawse. Thank you for sharing such incredible information. I'm getting into somewhat technical details here. Can you
Right.
explain the equity valuation process in brief, please?
Yeah. So basically, equity valuation is an integral part of the work that I do on a daily basis.
Mhm.
So basically, equity valuation means determining the intrinsic price of the stock. Okay,
Okay,
so stock that is traded on the stock exchange. So here,
right.
what we do, we analyze the company's financials. So there are various steps involved. I will explain it in brief. So
Yes,
first
please.
step is like, so now there are various methods of equity valuation, like the discounted cash flow, relative valuation, etc. One of the most widely for used method is the DCF, or discounted cash flow method. So here, the first step is calculate the free cash flow to the firm. So here we look at the company's financials, and we calculate the free cash flow to firm, which is the cash which is left after the company has spent on its operating expenses, investments in working capital, and
Mhm.
investment in the fixed assets. So
Okay,
whatever this cash is left, now this is available for distribution to the equity shareholders and the bondholders or the debt holders. So
okay.
this is a very useful measure to understand the company's health. So
Mhm.
after we, once we calculate the free cash flow for the last year or last 12 months, we
Mhm.
now need to project the free cash flow for the next 5 years or 10 years. So this projection involves uh, assumptions that we take
Mhm.
on different line items. Like we want to project the revenues for the company, then
Mhm.
we have to see what will be the volume growth, what will be the pricing growth. Then for the cost, we have to analyze the cost, like how
Mhm.
much is the fixed cost, variable cost. So there is a lot of complexity involved in these projections. And once we project the free cash flow to the firm, now what we do is we calculate the present value. So
Okay.
present value of the future cash flows. So here we use a discounting factor to calculate the present value. So this
Mhm.
is the basically the weighted average cost of capital. So companies' capital consists of equity, debt, preference shares. So we calculate what is the cost of this for the company, and
Mhm.
using this discount the future cash flows. And then what we do is that we take the sum of the present values of the future cash flows, and
Mhm.
what we have as the resulting value is known as the intrinsic value.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
this is what is the basic objective of the DCF analysis. Now we compare this intrinsic value with the current market price of the stock. So if
Okay.
the intrinsic value is more than the current stock price, that means this stock is undervalued, and we give a buy recommendation.
Okay.
And if the
Okay.
intrinsic value is closer to the market price, that means the stock is fairly valued. So we give a hold recommendation for that. And if the intrinsic value is coming out to be less than the current market price, that means the stock is overvalued. And
I
therefore, we give sell recommendation. Yeah.
I
So this is basic idea of the valuation process.
My goodness me, for a layman like me, I mean, you have actually explained it, and I'm 100% sure all our viewers watching this show, people who are not were anyway related, connected to this particular field of the equity markets and finance, I'm 100% sure today they are enlightened as I am, and because
Yeah.
I always thought that whenever these big brokerage houses put a buy or a hold or a sell or something like that on certain stocks, it was more to do with either industry trends or maybe where the market is moving, and so on and so forth. I did not actually see that there was so much of work that went into deciding whether it should be a buy, hold, or sell, or any of these matters. And great job. That's hats off. I can only imagine the complexity of the role you handle and the amount of responsibility it's demanded. That's tremendous, Mr. Pawse.
Yeah.
So moving on now. So you changed your trajectory from engineering to finance early on. It was a very sensible move since the results are speaking for themselves, no doubt about it. So, what advice would you like to give our viewers who wish to make a career in this field? And I am 100% sure you wouldn't want all engineers to move to finance.
Right. Yeah. So basically, while I was doing my graduation in engineering, I was always having that thought of doing the higher education. But I was
Okay.
not sure whether I should go into the technical field or I should go into another field like MBA.
Mhm.
But that time there was a lot of trend of people pursuing MBA. So I also thought that I will also understand what it is. And once I explored the MBA program and its opportunities, so I found it like very convincing that this is what I need to give my career a boost.
Right.
So I started preparing for the MBA entrance exams and all. And while doing that, I started reading the business newspapers, business magazines, and I started following these things. And slowly I got interested in these things,
Mhm.
especially finance aspect. And then what I felt is that whatever skills that I have developed in my engineering course, that is an analytical mindset, problem solving approach. So I found that these I can apply in the finance field because they are similar, like logical, and a lot of quantitative things are there. So I found a close resemblance there, and that is how I got interested in that. So I did my specialization in finance and
Mhm.
continued my career in equity research.
Wow, wow. That's interesting. And any specific advice that you would like to give anybody who wants to follow into your footsteps, take up this career?
Yeah, so like if anyone feels that they are having an aptitude for finance, so basically what is required is you need to have a lot of attention to detail and the ability to learn things and constantly update themselves about the various industry developments and all.
Mhm.
And so if someone is having this passion of continuous learning and exploring new things and are ready to give their efforts to the fullest, then they can definitely go ahead and make a career in finance.
Great, great. Mr. Pause, I must admit that the finance field didn't seem so vast from outside, but I'm 100% sure that when one gets into it, there are a host of avenues also available, and you need to actually pick up what really interests you and then
Right.
pursue it.
Yeah.
Uh, it all depends on whether you have the acumen for it.
Right. Right.
Fantastic. Thank you. Thank you for sharing such a wonderful piece of advice. Now that you're planning to add international corporate governance to your portfolio, how do you believe it is going to add value to your work, the work that you're doing right now?
Yeah. So basically, what got me interested in this aspect of corporate governance is that while we were analyzing our companies, we had introduced one new dimension of the ESG research
Mhm.
because we also wanted to look at not only the financials but how these companies are performing on the ESG, that is environmental, social, and governance. And
Mhm.
then, when I was looking at the company's sustainability reports and all the disclosures they give, so I've understood that this is a very crucial thing, and this is what is now investors and the people are demanding that companies should be ESG compliant,
Right.
and that's why I realized that this governance aspect is something very important.
Mhm.
And as I started exploring these things, I found that these corporate governance standards are there, and this needs to be adhered by the companies, and
Mhm.
so that got me interested. And I thought that in addition to just analyzing the companies externally, I thought that if I am able to get an opportunity to be a director in a company, then with my knowledge, skills, and experience, I will be able to, enhance the standards or contribute to the uh, improvement in the corporate governance and drive the changes that are there. So I thought that will be able to add value here, and that is why I'm looking to become an independent director.
Great, great, absolutely. I mean, with your kind of expertise, Mr. Pause, and your achievements, and if I may say, you know, the passion with which you look at your work, I am 100% sure that you are going to be an asset to any company that would take you as an independent director. No doubt about that.
Right. Yeah. Thank you.
Right. We're moving to the end of the discussion, unfortunately. But finally, as Directors Institute is your go-to academy for upskilling in international corporate governance, how do you feel while recollecting the time of enrolling with us?
Yeah, so I had attended the one webinar where the all the information was given, and it was very enlightening for me to understand the different aspects of the becoming a director.
Mhm.
And after enrolling for the course, I find that this course content is very engaging. The learning modules are easy to understand, and they have number of exercises to do. So that helps to build the knowledge and understand the concepts. And then there are also lectures from the industry professionals who have years of experience in corporate governance. So
Right.
it has been a great learning experience so far, and I'm looking forward to gain more from this program.
Great, great. Mr. Pause, thank you for your kind words. This conversation has exceeded all my expectations in terms of the knowledge I've gained from it. And certainly, our viewers have a lot to take back as well. I congratulate you beforehand on all the achievements you're sure to make in your boardroom position. We wish you all the very best, Mr. Pause, in all your future endeavors.
Yeah.
Thank
Thank you
you.
so much. Yeah.
Yes.
Thank
Thank
you.
you for being on this podcast.